Hi guys, I'm Jane. Today's workout is a really short workout that gives you tips on achieving a rollover. Now the rollover is one of my favourite exercises because it helps me build a lot of strength through the abdominals. I feel it's a great stretch through my back without putting loads of pressure on the spine, and I really love the stretch I get through the hamstrings. The exercise requires you to have quite a lot of flexibility through the back of the body and quite a lot of strength through the front of the body. Just be aware, guys, that when you do the exercise, if you are a person that's tight in your posterior chain, so the muscles through the back body, those muscles are going to try and inhibit you from using the strength of muscles in the front of the body. So one of the videos I recommend you doing is my video where I talk about the teaser. Okay, because the teaser demands a very similar level of flexibility through the back of the body, a very similar amount of strength through the front of the body. So this workout today isn't necessarily about which exercises are going to give you that flexibility, which exercise is going to give you the strength, but it's just tips really on how to go about practicing this exercise. One of the things that I generally find with the rollover is a person might have the flexibility, the mobility and the strength to do it, but it's the coordination and the timing of the exercise that they get a little bit wrong, so therefore the body isn't as efficient at doing the exercise. I'll give you a example of what the rollover is. Okay, so you know what exercise I'm talking about. So this is the rollover, and again, one of my favourite exercises. So arms are down on the mat, shoulders down on the mat, feet pointed. Lift the legs up, rock your pelvis back, lift your legs up and over. Legs ideally parallel with the floor, flex your feet. Take the legs as wide as your shoulders, a problem if you haven't got the space like me, and then slowly roll down, one bone by one. And then as you lower your legs to your point of control, you're going to close your feet and point them. And then we can reverse that by taking the legs out and then flexing, rocking back, coming up and over, bringing the feet together, pointing them, and slowly roll down. So you guys know what the exercise is now. So I'm going to give you some tips to help you with that exercise. And if you haven't got a ball, then please use a cushion, or you can use a foam roller. So I want you to make sure that your feet are in line with the sit bones. You've got the same gap between your knees as you have between your feet. Just check that your eye gaze is forwards at the ceiling in front of you, and your ribs and your sacrum are nice and heavy on the mat. Check with your hands, so make a triangle shape. Place that triangle over the 3 bony landmarks at the front of the pelvis, and just check that the 3 bones, so your 2 pelvic bones and your pubic bone, are level with one another. So that triangle is square to the ceiling. So just organise your pelvis until you find that place. If you need to take a little look to achieve that, please do. Okay, so once your pelvis is in neutral, just let your arms rest at the side of your body. Focus on your breath, so breathe into your rib cage. And on your exhalation, I want you to feel the pull up and the draw in of your deep core muscles. And then trying to maintain the control of your deep core muscles on your in-breath. Now on your next out-breath, I want you to rock your pelvis backwards, tipping your triangle to your chest, using the in-breath to release your pelvis back to neutral. So just working between your backwards tilt and your neutral pelvis. Now guys, the action of tipping your triangle to your chest is the action that engages the abdominals. So I really want you to feel the work the lower abs have to do to round your lower back into the floor. This is your first part of your rollover. So we really need to feel that abdominal recruitment. So I want you to make sure that you're not pushing into your feet and using your legs. The less you use your legs, the more you're going to feel the control of this tilt comes from your abdominals. Now this is very achievable when the feet are down on the floor and you've not got the weight of the legs through the torso. But when we do the roll over, we've got to be able to tilt that pelvis backwards against the weight of that leg, the weight of your legs, and that takes a lot of strength. But the first part to a rollover is understanding this movement and really feeling that abdominal control. Okay, now we're going to do a spinal articulation. So I want you to make your way up into your bridge. So you're tipping a triangle, you're peeling your spine away from the floor, coming up onto your shoulders. So where do you lift up to when you do the rollover? It's an inversion. You come up onto your shoulders. So you're just getting your body used to increasing that blood flow in the direction of the head, and then slowly rolling down. So back of the chest, back of the ribs, back of the waist. Pelvis comes down, release your pelvis to neutral at the bottom. Okay, so initiate the movement from the pelvis, but drive it from the abdominals. So for every bone of your spine that leaves the floor, really work on tipping your triangle to your chest and more. Feel a place where the pelvis is higher than the rib cage, the ribs are soft, and as you roll down, reinforce tipping your triangle to your chest. So again, you're trying to feel that sequential control that your abdominals have of your spine. So again, when the feet are on the floor and we've got some assistance from the legs, this is very achievable to do. But if we can't find the articulation, the abdominal control of the spine here, then we're not going to be able to do it against the weight of the legs. Because as you come down from your rollover, you've not just got the legs trying to pull the spine down, you've also got the downward challenge of gravity. Okay, so once we've achieved that, I want you to make sure that the pelvis is in its neutral position. You're going to lift one leg up and then the other leg. Okay, so it's really important that you are in your neutral pelvis here. Okay, so we've still got that small gap between the lower back and the mat, and that triangle is still square to the ceiling. Now I want you to put your hands on your legs just for feedback, and you're just checking, guys, that essentially your legs don't come closer to you. If your legs come closer to you, you're going to notice that your elbows will bend a bit more. If your legs come further away from you, your arms are going to straighten a bit more. So just notice the shape of your arms here. So now we've got the load of the legs going through the torso, so that further challenges the abdominals to hold the spine. So the first thing you need to be able to do, guys, is to be able to control the weight of your legs through your torso. If your back is arching away from the floor and you can't do anything about it, your abdominals aren't ready to hold. So you would do your fundamentals until we get to this stage. Now, if you're able to support the legs, I want you to use your out breath to rock your pelvis back and tip your triangle to your chest, and then release your pelvis back to neutral. So we've got that same tilt here as we had when the feet were on the floor, but obviously it takes more strength to do that pelvic tilt now that we've got more weight going through the torso. So my hands are on my legs, feedback. I'm checking, guys, that I'm not doing this and this, because the action of pulling the knees in increases the bend at the hips, and that increased hip flexion sends the lower back into the floor. I want your lower back to come into the floor because your abdominals flex your lumbar spine, not because your hip flexion creates that, but because your lower abs flex your lower back into the floor. So those are two different things. So this isn't going to get you stronger in your abdominals. So it might give you a bit of mobility. I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's wrong for this exercise. So this is going to get you stronger in your abdominals. So can you keep those legs still so we're not imprinting the lumbar by the hip flexing more, we're imprinting the lumbar through abdominal strength. Okay, so once you've got the control of that, we're going to start to do little tailbone lifts. Now when we do the tailbone lifts, this is where we're going to practice coordination through the upper torso and the lower torso. So when we do a rollover, you're essentially driving the movement from your abdominals and your shoulder extensors. So I want you to recognise those shoulder extensors. So with your feet down on the floor, palms are down, You're going to reach the back of your shoulders down into the mat, and you're going to push your arms down into the floor. Now, when you push your arms down, that sends the spine into extension. The spine naturally wants to extend. So it's kind of contradicting what you're going to be asking your spine to do, because in a rollover, we're asking the spine to flex, we're asking it to round. Okay, but I want you to try and press the arms down, but also reach the ribs down into the floor at the same time. So just get a feel for that. Okay, so we want to keep the ribs dropping down, the chin dropping down, and then I want you to flex the lumbar into the mat. So as you press your arms down, you're trying to reach the back of your waist into the floor using your abs, not your hip flexors. Okay, so really trying to imprint the whole back body into the floor. So as we push the back of the arms and the back of the shoulders downwards, that activates your shoulder extensors. As you push the waist and the ribs into the floor, we're activating the abdominals. Okay. Now, if you feel that there's a lot of fat in the neck, guys, this exercise might not be for you. Because with this exercise, we can't really put any support underneath the head, because it puts the neck into too much flexion, and that's going to be restrictive for your airways. It's not going to feel nice for the back of the neck. Okay, so if by doing this you're going like that every time, there's better exercises for your body to strengthen the abdominals and stretch your back. Okay, but if we can do that, then you're going to release to neutral, lift one leg up, then the other. And then from here, we're going to do little tailbone lifts. So you're going to rock your pelvis back, lift your tailbone. And as you rock your pelvis back, I want you to push your arms and the back of your shoulders downwards. So you're trying to feel that coordination between the abdominals and the shoulder extensors. It's not one and then the other. That backwards tilt of the pelvis has to happen at the same time as the push down into the floor with the arms and the shoulders. Now, once you've mastered that, do it with straight legs, so increasing that load. So feet reaching up to the ceiling, and it's really tiny lifts, but this is the hardest bit of a rollover. So the hardest bit is the first third of the movement, where the abdominals have to overcome the weight of the legs and the downward challenge of gravity. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're not doing this again, because this is using your legs to leverage your spine off the mat. There's going to be a bit of help from those legs, but I need you to have that abdominal control. Okay, so that's worth building on. Okay, and then we're going to use the ball to help us, so the brain understands the movement. So you're going to go back into that shoulder bridge, peeling that spine away, and then I want you to pop the ball underneath the pelvis. The bigger the ball, the more help you're going to get with this exercise. So a way of building up to doing the rollover is you can simply make your ball smaller, so reduce air out of your ball, or if you've got different sized balls, that's great. So the pelvis is in neutral, the ribs are sinking nice and heavy downwards, and you're going to lift one leg up and then the other. Now notice, guys, my hips are higher than my rib cage and my shoulders. Okay, so I'm already starting to go into that inversion. I'm not, obviously, but I'm a third of the way there, because the ball has done the hardest bit of the rollover, which was the first bit of the lift. So the ball has done that. So I want you to remember where you initiate the movement from. So you're going to think of tipping your triangle, pushing down to your arms. So rock the pelvis back, push down to your arms, and see if your bottom is willing to come up. Now, we don't want to be collapsing here. You've got to think of trying to draw your pubic bone up to your belly button, sit bones up to the ceiling, and thinking of lifting your pelvis off the rib cage, slowly rolling down, one bone by one, and then finding that ball. Now, balls are balls, so they might roll away from you, so you might need to hold onto your ball. Just see where it is when you come down. Okay, make sure that you're releasing to neutral, because if you don't release the pelvis to neutral, you've got nowhere to go with your backwards tilt. And that backwards tilt is where your power comes from. So you've got to tilt your pelvis back, push down, and lift from your abdominals. And then slowly control that lowering phase, reaching the back of the shoulders down. I'm really hoping that that ball is going to be there, and it is only just. Okay, so then building on straightening those legs back, so trying to bring them parallel with the floor and maybe holding that ball and then slowly rolling down, and then we can keep the legs straight. We can play with this, we can lower the legs down, see where you can keep that spine stable, you can hinge the legs up, you can even add the footwork and the opening of the legs, but we really just want to make sure that we've got that coordination here. So tipping the triangle, push into the arms, so you really feel in the back of the arms and the abdominals. When you feel practice at it, remove your ball. So remove the ball one by one, slowly rolling down and then bending those knees. And guys, if I've got a person that's really tight in the back of the body, I generally ask them to keep their legs close to their chest on that lowering phase, because it really challenges a person's flexibility. But if I've got a person that's really mobile and really flexible, then we'll do it with straight legs. I ask them to keep their legs quite far away from them as they roll down, because that makes the abs work harder. Okay, so you guys know what exercise you're building up to, so I demoed that at the very beginning, and I hope those tips helped you. Those tips obviously aren't one size fits all. There's many reasons a person would struggle with a rollover, but hopefully some of these ideas will help you build up to achieving yours. And certainly if you come into my intermediate classes, this is an exercise where you know, it regularly featured in the intermediate class, so yeah, it's definitely worth practicing, but once you've mastered it, it's a lovely exercise. Okay guys, I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye.